Before you buy a new car, you need to watch this. Now, it's no secret that the car market is full of uncertainty at the moment, and this has unfortunately left people asking how to buy a car. Like, what are the best ways to buy a car in this market and save money? Well, I'm gonna show you. After purchasing countless cars and dealing with dealerships and going through the whole process, I have 3 essential tips that I want to share with you that will streamline your car buying process and potentially save you thousands of dollars. So if you like saving money, then be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel down below. And while you're at it, I'd recommend saving this video, because even if you're not in a position to buy a car at this moment, at some point in your life you will be. And when you are ready, you want to be able to take advantage of these hacks or tips that I'm about to show you so that you can implement them and save thousands of dollars down the road. So before we dive into these hacks, we need to understand first why the car market is the way that it is. Now, a scary statistic to consider is that auto loans are the #1 wealth blocker for American families. With high interest rates and huge monthly payments, it seems like getting a car is impossible nowadays. The average cost of a new car in America is about to surpass $50,000. And with auto payments exceeding $745 a month. And to add to that, interest rates are at an all-time high. And it's official, Americans are now starting to fall behind on their payments. Now, there are a few key factors that have contributed to this. The first one being depreciation. Depreciation is a key element that no one wants to talk about when they purchase a new car, but it's necessary to cover this. Now, normally, cars depreciate about 9 to 18% the moment you drive them off the lot. But why is depreciation important? Well, over the last few years, everything that we thought we knew about depreciation essentially changed. This is because there was a shortage in the market in terms of new cars. The demand for new cars stayed the same, but the supply changed. This is obviously due to the whole lockdown and shutdown and everything that happened. So at the height of the shortage, people were able to buy used cars and essentially drive them around for years and sell them for a profit, which is something that is unlike any normal market. Now, why does this matter? Well, at the height of the shortage, if someone wanted to get a new car, they were usually going to have to pay way over MSRP, sometimes 10% over MSRP, just to get into a new car. So essentially, the prices of new cars raised, but also the prices of used cars, because the people who did not want to pay the new car tax at the time of the shortage were reverting to used cars because that's what they were able to get their hands on. So not only did we see an increase in prices in new cars, we also saw an increase in prices in used cars. Now, although after the pandemic, supply chains in every other market seemed to level out, the car market just never seemed to go back to what it was before. That means that the average price of a new car is about $12,000 more than it was in the last few years. And that also means that typical families would now have to pay 70 to 80% of their take-home pay just to afford a new car. That means that incomes are just not able to keep up with the rate of the increasing car prices, which is a huge problem. And this leaves many Americans with skyrocketing auto debt. Now, unlike real estate that is subject to strict underwriting guidelines, the car market has none of that. Car financing is one of the shadiest places to be, to put it quite frankly. Now, you may see so many dealerships advertising 0 down or no credit required, no income required. You can just come and sign and drive and you're good to go. And it may sound great, it may sound tempting at first, but this is actually a horrible thing. In many cases, dealerships will lock buyers into higher interest rate loans than normal. This is essentially predatory, but we actually have a hack that will directly combat this. And to make it worse, it's estimated that 39% of all drivers are underwater, meaning that they owe more on the car than it's actually worth. And if you're purchasing a new car, this is a position that you never want to be in. This is probably the worst that it can get, is owing more on a car than it's actually worth. Now you essentially have negative equity. And as horrible as this is, it actually happens more than you would think. So another thing to consider when purchasing a new car is inventory, available inventory. Now, this may be the difference between you saving thousands of dollars on your next car purchase. So all car manufacturers have something called market day supply. That's essentially how long it takes them to sell a car. So for instance, a typical Ram has a market day supply of 392 days when compared to a Lexus RX model with a market day supply of 16 days. that essentially means that there's a higher demand for the Lexus RX than there is for the Ram. One thing to consider is that cars with higher market day supplies will usually have higher incentives and bonus programs because essentially they want to clear their inventory and get those cars off of the lot. Now, another thing to consider, and a very important thing to consider when it comes to buying a new car, is something that we have been hit with this year, and that's tariffs. And tariffs are going to affect almost every single car that you're going to see on the road. Now, it's said that automakers are going to have to pay 25% on every imported vehicle into the US. So this means that we may see even more of an increase on car prices if tariffs stay in effect. Now, in terms of what you can do to ensure that you're getting the best deal and potentially save yourself thousands of dollars when purchasing a new vehicle, here it is. Here are the 3 hacks. Number 1, take your time. Now, I know it may seem so cliche, but when car shopping, patience is literally a virtue. One of the things I would recommend when car shopping is if you find a car that you like and you want to test drive, go and test drive that car. But usually after that test drive happens, dealerships are going to try to negotiate that deal right then and there. Now, the reason why dealerships do this is because they know that if you leave the dealership, the chances of them selling you that car diminish dramatically. So here's what you're going to do. Test drive that car, go home, sleep on it. Now, the next thing that you're going to want to do is call that dealership and try to see what price they can give you, what their bottom line number is. Now, many dealerships won't try to give you terms or prices over the phone. They're going to try to get you in there. They know that once you step foot inside the dealership, the chances of you purchasing and leaving with a vehicle increase significantly. So they want you to stay there as long as possible. That's why a lot of times they'll try to get you in for a test drive as soon as possible because they just want your business. But here's the issue with that. They won't be willing to negotiate on your terms once you're in the dealership. Usually the ball is going to be in their court. So here's what you do. Let's say you're on the phone with the dealership and they are not willing to give you prices. You have 2 options. You can either, 1, call another dealership. I guarantee you'll find another dealership that would be willing to work with you over the phone. Another thing that you can do to get the best price out of them is let them know that you're shopping around for rates, you're shopping around for prices. That way, they'll give you the best number that they can give you because they want to get your business. You'd be surprised how many times I've seen people, and I've also saved thousands of dollars utilizing this method. And the best thing about it is that you're shopping around and ensuring that you're getting the best price. Now, of course, it may take a little bit more time than if you were to just go to one dealership and purchase a car. But when you're thinking about purchasing a car with a loan, it becomes worth it because essentially you're paying thousands less by just utilizing this method that's completely free. It may just take a little bit of time, but it's a completely free method that ensures that you get the best deal on the car that you're looking at. Okay, so the second hack that I have for you is to negotiate. Don't be afraid to negotiate car prices. Now, this kind of goes back to number 1 where we talk about comparing different prices from different dealerships. Essentially, that is kind of like the art of negotiation. You're putting the ball in your court so that you can compare across dealerships to see who has the best deal, to ensure that you're always getting the best deal. Now, another thing to consider when negotiating is the market day supply of cars, kind of like we discussed before. Sources like CarEdge are perfect places to find market day supply on different vehicles. Now, some vehicles with a longer market day supply may offer huge incentives or promotions or discounts for purchasing those vehicles because they want to clear their inventory for the new year or the incoming year. Some of these incentives might look like 0% APR or $5,000 off MSRP. You could also even negotiate free oil changes or free car washes into your deal. Depending on the manufacturer or the automaker, you'd be surprised how many incentives you can get or utilize just from purchasing a vehicle with a longer market day supply. So definitely check out CarEdge and look at the market day supply. This is a great source to gather data to essentially steer you in a direction to look for these promotions and incentives. And the third hack, and the most important hack that I have found, is if you are purchasing a vehicle with a loan, which the majority of Americans will be doing, shop around the loan. You want to shop around the loan. I can't stress this enough. Car dealerships make the majority of their profit off of financing. So essentially they want to put you in a loan where they can make as much money off of you for as long as possible. Now, I've found that credit unions and banks usually have way better terms and loans than car dealerships do. Now, here's the great thing about getting pre-approved from your credit union or your bank. Number one, usually their rates are going to be lower, and two, the terms are going to be more favorable to you. Now, the cool thing about this is when you go to the dealership, you already have a pre-approved offer. You have a loan offer already. This puts the dealership in a situation where they either have to beat this or match this loan to get your business. So getting a loan offer through a credit union or an outside source already puts you ahead of many other buyers. It already puts you in a way better position, because in the event that the dealership can't match that loan, you already have a great loan offer from your bank or your credit union. But in the event that the dealership really wants your business and really wants you to finance with them, it puts them in a position where they have to then beat that interest rate and potentially beat those loan terms. So already you're saving money by utilizing this one hack. This also streamlines your buying process, because you don't have to sit with finance and go through the whole game of them trying to sell you this and sell you that. I should also mention one important thing when purchasing a car from a dealership is to watch out for the upsells. It may be typical to pay dealer fee, tag, title, registration. Those are all normal things. But when you see things like added dealership warranties or detailing charges that may be up to $3,000, you want to steer clear of these things. If you see a dealership trying to charge you these prices or these extra charges, maybe try somewhere else, because chances are you may find a dealership out there that doesn't have any of these charges, and that can save you thousands of dollars just by doing that. You could even negotiate these fees off with that dealership if you want to do business with them, but I wouldn't recommend paying for anything else unless it's extremely necessary. Now, separate from those three hacks, I want to share a key method with you that can determine what you can afford when car shopping or car buying. This is called the 24-10 rule. The 24-10 rule suggests that you make a 20% down payment on a loan of 4 years where you spend no more than 10% of your monthly income on transportation. So as we've covered, there are many tricks and tips and hacks that you can utilize to ensure that you're getting the best deal on your purchase and also saving thousands of dollars in the process. Looking at data like market day supply, keeping in mind depreciation, and all of the other hacks and tips that we've discussed in this video will ensure that you are getting the best deal possible and saving thousands of dollars in the process. If you've enjoyed this video and got some value and learned something, then all that I ask in return is that you give this video a like and maybe share it with someone who you think it may help. And if you have any other great tips on how buyers can save money when purchasing new vehicles, then be sure to drop them down in the comments below. Let's create a community where people can save money on their car purchases. Who knows, your comment may save someone thousands of dollars. So don't be shy. Definitely leave a comment down below. Let me know what tips and strategies you've used in the past to save money on your car purchases. Till I see you next time, peace.